unlocking your world of creativity with best-selling author and brand innovator, Mark Stinson. This episode is brought to you by White Cloud Coffee Roasters, nestled in the heart of Idaho's mountain wilderness, where every bean tells a story of adventure. Discover the difference in their premium beans, meticulously roasted to capture the essence of the mountains. Now, listeners of our podcast can get an exclusive 10% discount. Just use the promo code CREATIVITY at checkout. Visit whitecloudcoffee.com and use the code CREATIVITY.
Welcome back, friends, to our podcast, Your World of Creativity, where we're traveling around the globe talking to creative practitioners of all kinds about how they get inspired and how they organize their ideas and, of course, how they gain the confidence and the connections to launch their work out into the world. And today I'm so happy to be talking to a registered dietitian who's not only promoting good health, but promoting her own great brand. Welcome, Ella Davar. Ella, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mark. Such a pleasure to be here with you.
It's great to stamp our creative passports in Miami. But you've come a long way to Miami from
Yes.
rural Russia. I'd love to
Yes.
hear a little bit about that creative journey.
It was a full circle kind of story. I'm sure you guys read Alchemist, right? Where he started off in a little church and he traveled the whole world to only find the treasure back in the little church in Spain. Similar. So I grew up in rural Russia where my grandparents and my parents grew their own food, not because it was organic, it was healthy, none of those things, because they needed to be self-sufficient because they couldn't afford buying food. And it was cheaper to grow your own food, take care of the animals, slaughter the animals for the family to have food throughout the winter. And as a young teenager in the 90s, I was like, you guys are all losers. You can buy this stuff, right? I'm out of here because it's a lot of work. All these organic trends right now saying how we should be healthy and supporting local farmers. And I'm all about it, but I'm like, it's a lot of work to do that. So you need a lot of people to take care of all of this, to be able to put the food on the table, not just by money, but like physically. So when I was a young teenager, I left my hometown and I said, I'm just going to make all the money in the world because the supermarkets and the American lifestyle was very attractive.
Yes.
Next thing I know, I land in America all on my own without speaking any English. I was like a little puppy, smiling and nodding, but not able to say anything back to people and barely understanding them too. So that was my journey. I came here as soon as I turned 19 years old, and it was a long journey. I studied English. I got my first degree, associate's degree, and then a second degree and bachelor's degree in finance. Worked on Wall Street for a little bit, hated it with passion. And actually, there was one man, like way before Ubers existed. I took a town car and it was raining in Manhattan. And this guy was wearing like the Indian guy with all the, what do you call this thing on top of his head?
Yes. Like the
You know what
turban.
I mean? Yeah, the turban. And he looked at my hand. And I remember the moment when he said, you're going to end up close to the earth and the nature. And I looked like a farming. And I was like, I looked at him, like, ew, I'm in Manhattan.
This is why I left.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I was so disappointed with what he had to say. But now, of course, becoming a registered dietitian, a health coach, nutritionist, specializing in gut health and organic living, I definitely see my grandparents, my parents now as my biggest teachers. I graduated from NYU, and when I talk about healthy eating, I always say I didn't learn healthy eating at NYU. I learned science at NYU, but organic living, I knew it all along in my heart. I just had to learn how to appreciate it and value it.
I love how you say it. It's full circle. Certainly it
Yeah.
is. The inspiration from your roots, though, right?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Love that. This idea of eating healthy and even organic, it has its practical sides.
Yep.
It's not easy, as you described. And even as I'm sitting here in my coffee shop in Eagle, Idaho, the day-to-day people like to eat out. They like to go to coffee shops. I'd like to get very practical with you for a
Yeah,
second.
let's
If
do
I
it.
went out for coffee with you, what do
Yeah.
you order? What do you get? What do you keep on the program, so to
This is
speak?
the longevity plate that I created for my clients.
Oh,
So
look at that.
either at the buffet, or if you're just thinking at the end of the day, you need to make sure that you're eating all of those things. Ideally at every meal, but it sometimes doesn't happen. But at least by the end of the day, each section needs to be taken care of. So you see the biggest section over here? These are all your non-starchy green leafy vegetables, colorful vegetables that good news are they're very low in calories and they're high in fiber and they're essential for optimal health and metabolism. They help to prevent colon cancer, they keep your digestion regular, and they help your liver to detoxify and keep you strong and also lower your LDL cholesterol, lower the blood pressure. So all these vegetables are your friends, and that's why they're the biggest section here because most Americans don't eat enough vegetables. And then over here, we have the starchy vegetables, potatoes, pasta, rice, all the grains are here. That's a great section. It's one of the most delicious ones, right? And then it's right here. But you see what the size of it compared to all the vegetables? Vegetables are essential. And you don't need to become vegetarian, vegan to eat vegetables. You just need to know about the importance of them and make sure you eat them at least once a day. Ideally at every meal, but at least once or twice a day. And then there's other three sections. There's the protein section, very important, also one of the most delicious one. That's why most Americans are hanging out over here from 5 to 7 o'clock. There's a lot of starch, carbs, bread, pasta, and cookies and pastries, and protein. Protein is important, like the steak, fish, and beans. Beans, lentils are also here, and they're essential part of our optimal intake. We have healthy fats over here. Avocados, nuts, olives. And then over here, we have antioxidants. I put it in a separate section because I specialize in longevity and gut health. That's why I put it separately. It's important that we consume that. In antioxidants here, I have things like ginger, turmeric. I have all types of berries and fruits. To answer your question, make it simple. If we were to have a breakfast together, I would order a toast or like a sourdough toast with avocado, with some smoked salmon on it and a salad on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I love a savory breakfast and I recommend it. I call it hormone balancing because if it's not savory, it's sweet. And once it's sweet, it raises your blood sugar, raises your insulin, one of the most important hormones for metabolism. And when we have a chronically elevated insulin from breakfast, from drinks, from snacks, from treats, from all the oversaturation of the carbohydrate meal, that's what causes obesity, metabolic disorder, heart issues, and diabetes. Okay, so we need to manage the insulin, fall in love with the savory foods and anti-inflammatory foods. And this is the best way to create a healthy metabolism for higher chances of longevity.
It's a great way to look at it, Ella. When you were describing what we like, there's this short-term fix, there's the long-term benefits. How do you get us to think about longevity? You're
Yeah.
even president of the Global Longevity Association when we're
Yeah.
so focused on this short-term gratification.
Okay. So whenever people I've worked before I became a dietitian, I worked as a health coach at Mount Sinai Hospital on a research project aimed at bringing this knowledge to low-income population groups. So I worked in the Bronx, in Harlem, those not the best neighborhoods in New York. And
Mm.
then when I graduated and got my job, I worked at a longevity clinic with the top 1% of the high net worth, the most intelligent people of Manhattan. So I have experience from all working with people of different walks of life. And let me tell you what they have in common. They all don't have the time and they have too much stress on their plate. And you can imagine they're dealing with different stress and the time is still not there, right? No matter what the lifestyle, what resources you have. So my way to bring the motivation to the people is to ask them for their why. What is your why? Why do you get up in the morning and why do you do what you do? Some people, the younger one, would say that they need to prove something, they need to create something of themselves, they want something for themselves. Older folks, they would say, for my kids, I got to do it for my kids. What are they going to? And that's when I get to tell them, and that's a lot of us, like, they don't care about themselves anymore. So I ask them the question, do you want to be there for your grandchildren? And if the answer is yes, how do you want to be there? Do you want to be in the wheelchair, unable to pick them up, unable to get up or dance with them? Or you want to be on the bike with them when you're 80? You want to be able to pick them up and take them place and enjoy life with them up until you're 80 or 90. And if you have that chance, what are you willing to do today to invest into that vision, right? So that's very often what the why for older guys is they won't do it for themselves, but they will do it for their grandkids and for their children. But
That's a good
but
way to look at it.
yeah, but my specialty is the really younger population group. More and more people are now getting educated and they see how things are being changed very rapidly. The things like younger guys that don't have a diagnosis, they have brain fog, like the inability to get by throughout the day without extra stimulant of coffee. So they're like, I'm lacking energy, lacking motivation. And just by changing what they eat, very often they have clarity, they have more energy, they have more like a better way of feeling about themselves. So they truly see now how food is medicine and just changing a few little things, you can create so much difference. And that's priceless. And then life happens. We always overeat, overindulge, go back, but at least you know how to get out of it. And so
Mm.
it's very like healthy lifestyle right now is becoming more and more popular right now. So more people are embracing that. And I'm very happy about those trends.
Yeah, glad you're a part of it. We've been talking about your work, and let's get down to the foundation of it all and
Yeah.
the creativity as the theme of this podcast takes us. Your gut brain method, you're really seeing the signature program, the signature offering. I'd love to
Yeah.
hear you walk us through the creative process that really led you to developing this, not only clinically, but creatively.
Yes. Such a great question. I'm always get so humbled as a medical clinical dietitian. Like I did a whole year in medical residency where they were just drilling into me how to do things. And I never ended up working in a hospital because I realized they just want me to be a faceless soldier that just does what I've been told. Don't think for yourself. Don't get creative. Don't give your opinions. Just do what you're told. So as soon as I graduated and got my license, I became an entrepreneur, self-employed, right? I've always searched for a way to express myself, even within the certified, there's still limits that they give you.
Mhm.
Like I'm a curious person and I've always been led in my life by curiosity, right? I love learning different modalities of well-being. So I studied yoga, I studied meditation, different types of meditation, like hypnosis and healing modalities. And I have a clinical medical degree. And so at some point, I really, also through my own therapy, I found this courage within to give my clients, I started out one on one, what it is that I believe in. And half of it, what I believe in, is nutrition science, what you eat. And the second part of it is emotional well being. To answer this question, I'm going to take a pause here before I pose this question, which is the biggest problem in the health industry. Why do we do what we do when we know what we know, right? Everyone knows we should be eating healthy, right? But rarely happens. Life happens, treats, all these things will start on Monday, right? So people don't start. So very often with all this second part of my method, which is all spirituality and meditation, I get to tap into those answers for people. And very often those answers are entangled or attached to some trauma or some emotions that are underneath the self-destructive behaviors. So I started guiding these meditations for my clients. Like when they come to my office, we talk about supplements, we talk about food, we talk about testing. And then if I see them doing everything right, but still find themselves spinning their wheels, and that's when I take them into this either their childhood to see like the inner child meditation. Everyone starts crying, right? But this emotional release really shifts the perspective for some people. And that's why part of my method now, it's called gut brain method. Yes, still a scientific term because there's a connection between
Mhm.
gut and brain. But my program really, when you get into it, you realize that only one part of it is nutrition science and medical treatments. And the second part is meditations that I guide and spiritual and breath work and things that people are really able to create the difference. And it's not because they learned something that I said, told them to eat, but it's because they feel better about themselves and they want to treat themselves better and they feel worthy, they feel more self-compassion, they feel more self-kindness and self-respect to do better in life. And that's, I think, like those invisible reasons, that's what creates the long-term results.
Mhm. Now that we know the clinical and, as you say, spiritual basis of your program, I'd love to explore a little bit about the branding and marketing. The health and wellness space, very crowded, very
Yes.
competitive. How have
Uh,
you created your brand in this space?
I did, and now I teach others how to do it. I have another course because, that just came out like I'm not a branding specialist, but I realized because I'm a leader by nature, right? I can't be in the crowd. I need to be leading. So I started putting myself out there, right? Even when I was still part of the clinic, I ended up on a radio talk show. And as soon as I did one guest episode, the hosts were like, "Do you want to work for us? Do you want to be a host?" I was like, "Yeah, I could do that." And next thing I know, I'm a host on the radio talk show. And then when I moved to Florida 3 years ago, I have done now more than 200 TV episodes. Work as a public speaker on different wellness events, and I recorded a TEDx talk. I've done that. I have contributed to over 300 different articles in wellness, so different magazines, you name them. I've been to all of them. I've written for all of them, and so I know how to work with reporters. And so over the years, all the other health coaches, nutritionists, and dietitians started to ask me these questions. How do you do it? How do you get into life? How do you get all that exposure? And so I started teaching people. I said, "You, if I could do it, you could do it." So I started teaching people how to nurture the relationship with all these people in complementary industries that could help you give you endorsements, validations, exposure. And that's what personal branding is all about, right? The more people see you out there doing so many great things, the more they see you as someone who's of high value and who can charge more and earn more, right? So I do have a course on that too. It's called Personal Branding Masterclass, where I have recorded, and guess what? After I've nurtured this relationship, all those people became my friends. I've
Mhm.
recorded interviews with TV show producers, with TEDx organizers, and with editors of major magazines and publications in New York. And I also publishing in the process of third book. And I recorded a whole lesson on how to publish your book and become a published author. So all of this is part of personal branding. And if you want, I can keep talking about the value of personal branding, but it sounds like you already know.
That's good. No. What have you seen as the value to you? I guess to talk about advice, advice is what it's worth. But as you teach it in your class, what is the benefit and
Oh,
value to somebody for building, especially in the health and wellness space?
the simplest thing is most of this. No, you know what? In health and wellness, they all start out that they want with the goodness. They want to teach the world. They want to help everyone, anyone, right? So initially, it's just to give you a bigger audience. Suddenly, someone's giving you a platform to be on. If you only have, I don't know, 600 followers, you go to the news channel, and suddenly you have thousands of people watching you, right? So you get to help more people. But then if you're really in working for a long time and you're realizing at the end of the day, you gotta pay your mortgage. You
Mhm.
gotta if no one's is paying your bills, it's at the end of the day, it's all about the money. It's about earning more money and creating income for yourself. And if you want to build something, build your own family, build your own house, you need more money. So for me, the simplest answer that I was about to give you is like to earn a better income. But very often like, when I see in health and wellness, people are not motivated by money at the beginning.
Yes.
Then when you do it long enough, like I've been doing it for a decade, I try to help everyone, but I need to help myself first. And I used to be a student where I didn't care about the money. I worked for free, but now no one paying my bills. So for me, it's essential that the more I have built my personal brand and the more exposure I got, the higher my rates, and I'm able to earn a lot more and work less.
Very good. Ella, I want to make sure that people know where to find you and connect with you to learn about gut brain, but also learn about this personal branding. So before I ask you about the future, let's talk about the present. Where do we find you?
GutBrainMethod.com. That's my ultimate website where everything's at. Um, Both courses are recorded there, very easy to start learning right away. The Gut Brain Method is online course, as well as the Personal Brand Masterclass, where I have recorded all these interviews and have given away all the pitches and examples on how to do it. So you can just put your name in there and start the conversation and get it going. And also elladavar.com. There's more information about me and what I do in the global longevity space.
Oh, fantastic. Let's look ahead, not only trends in the clinical side of things, but developments in health and wellness, sort of innovation and marketing and branding. How do you see things going forward?
Whoa, that's a great question. Really, we got to talk about AI. Not my area of expertise, but this is what's taking over the world by the storm. And I recently hosted a AI talk. It's called Don't Die Dinner. And I realized that a lot of people don't even want to hear about it. They just want to hear about the nitty gritty little things that they can control. But the AI is here and it's being used by all the smartest leaders. And it's going to create a big difference. And if you're not using it, if you're not learning about it, you'll be behind. So I know a lot of people feel inferior when you start talking about it. Like, I have no clue, another technology that I have to implement, that I have to learn about. But in reality, yes, like the more work, like even that I used to have two assistants. Now I have only one. I'm able to
Hmm.
save money because AI is doing all the work for me,
Right.
all the automations, which is becoming, and a lot of people is going to lose their job, like in terms of writing and research and analytics. It's all there for you within instant seconds. And same thing with create the critical thinking. We used to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to pay for medical degrees to the idea is, what are we learning here is critical thinking, how to make the decision, knowing everything that we know, we have to be able to make a decision. And now more and more doctors are using AI, and soon AI will be doing surgeries. So that's
Hmm.
our future. And the more you're learning about it and implementing it into our work, that's the more we'll be winning.
Yes. And you mentioned not only your own cultural background and upbringing, but also bridging between communities, whether they be in a not so well off neighborhood all the way to the top performers.
Yeah.
That's a real challenge for us today. And I'd love your perspective on what do you think it takes for us, and especially as creative leaders, to bridge the gap between so many cultures?
Bridge the gap, like focus on the things that we can learn from each other. Right? You mentioned like the socioeconomical status. Like, I used to live in New York and I used to didn't think much of myself. I was like, all these people out there, and I'm just like right here feeling the distance between us. And then as I started growing and working, like it's all about work. And the more I work, and I was like, I have no choice. I'm an immigrant. I'm alone here, right? I have to work hard. And in the last 3 years, I've been just hustling. And now I'm realizing there's all these people that are jealous of me, that I have all the rumors about me, that are jealous of my success. I was like, guys, I'm just hustling. But suddenly I am being viewed like that person that I used to see others. Like, she's successful, she's doing all this fancy thing. And I'm like, I was nothing just a few years ago. And I've been working my tail off this whole time. And then suddenly someone views me as superior. I'm like, no, you can do it too. Just work for it and don't judge others. Just work. And that's what I think what we need to bridge between others. Don't see someone's chapter 22 and comparing it to you chapter 1. So it's not even about the cult. And that's what I said, what we can learn from each other. And what I think my course is so successful that I just give everything away. I truly believe that because I could do it, anyone can do it. I'm an immigrant. And there's all these American dietitians that are learning from me. And I always say that, like, I give a lot of things away. That's one of the biggest feedbacks I get on my course, that it's so hard to find inside information because it's all gate kept. And I think that's our future of the type of leadership that we need, is keep the gate open. Nothing is a competition. And even now I see, like, I just give everything away and people are like, aren't you afraid of, you're building competition for yourself? I'm like, I'm not afraid. I work so hard. No one, like, whoever works harder than me gets to win. That's how it's supposed to be, you
Sure.
know?
Well, and the demand for this
Yeah.
information on how to live a healthy lifestyle and
Mhm.
so forth, the demand is higher than we'll ever be able
Yeah.
to supply. I don't ever look at competitors like that because there's so many people out there that need this
Yeah,
information.
and the same thing between cultures.
I have
Yeah.
appreciated so much. My guest has been Ella Davar. And Ella, you've shared great information for sure, great clinical insights and your experience. But more than that, as you even know for yourself, your energy is infectious. So thanks for sharing that as well.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, we've covered a lot of territory, cultural differences, creativity, building brands, and even the connection to longevity that this gut brain method can provide us. So, my guest has been Ella Davar, and her journey and insights have been very inspirational today. Also, want to thank our sponsor, White Cloud Coffee, for fueling our creative conversations here on the podcast. And listeners, you can enjoy a 10% discount on your order from White Cloud when you use the code CREATIVITY at checkout. So visit whitecloudcoffee.com. And come back again next time. We'll continue our around the world journeys to talk to creative practitioners about inspiration and organization, but most of all, confidence and connections to launch our work out into the world. So until then, I'm Mark Stinson, and we'll keep unlocking your world of creativity. Bye for now.